Dan, thanks for your time today. Been quite a good upturn in form since the last international break. 10 points from 12 available. Is that down to purely having that break and to come back fresh?
I think so, yeah. I think it's played a big part in our previous seasons as well. That break just gave us a chance to reset, work on the things that probably haven't went as well as we would have liked, and then go again. I think that's probably the biggest learning point of this season with the European games and the added games. I think was going from getting to train and learn all the things that you haven't been doing well, where it was just more you play, you rest, you recover and you go again. So I think that's probably something that we'll take going forward.
How much of that is physical? How much is mental?
A bit of both really. I think physically it's been a really demanding season for us. I think the amount of injuries that we've had have put more demands on the players than we would have liked. But as I said, I do think we've dealt with that pretty well. And yeah, mentally I think when you've played in the Champions League, the excitement of it, going out of that, then it's about, I think the best teams can motivate themselves every single game, no matter who they're playing. So for me, Man City, no matter who they're playing on what day, they'll play anywhere and they can perform. So I think that's the sort of levels that you've got to reach if you want to do that. And I'm not saying that we aren't motivated for some games, but I think that's just something that we can sort of learn going forward.
Equally, Manchester City play quite a possession-based style of football. Your brand is very intense. So if you drop off 2 or 3%, presumably you'd notice it more.
Yeah, I think you do, and I think you have noticed that this season, which is, again, I don't like to use excuses, but going back to injuries, I think it's something that the club looked at in the summer. We brought in some great additions to the squad, but then when you're having the injuries that we've had, that we haven't been able to change the team as much as we would have liked, and even just looking at that first game when we beat Villa 5-1 at the start of the season, the subs that were made in the squad that we were left with, if we'd had that the full season, I think we could be talking about a much different season. But as I said, I'm just really proud of the club and the staff and the group that we've managed to be sitting at the position that we are after the season that we've had.
Speaking of injuries, how are you?
I'm good, yeah. I think it took a little while to get going again. I've said before, I probably came back a little bit earlier than I should have, but I think it was just something that had to be done. I think a lot of the lads have had to do that this season. We've spoken about Longy playing through injuries and stuff, so it did take a little while to get the rhythm going again, but yeah, no, I feel really good.
Just for people who don't know quite the severity, can you just tell us what your injury was?
I fell on my back, so I fractured 3, they're called transverse process bones on your back, so yeah, it was
a broken back.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So yeah, it was agony. It was tough because obviously you can't really run off a broken back. So. And
how long before you were back playing?
It was just under 6 weeks, I think. So yeah, but as I said, like, I felt good. I wouldn't have pushed myself through it if I didn't think I could. But yeah, I'll not be the only person that's done that for Newcastle this season. So.
Awkward question, but did it stick in your craw a little bit that people questioned you and various aspects of your game when you'd come back from a broken back after 6 weeks? Yeah,
I think so, but I think it is tough because people only see what they see on a Saturday, so they don't see the work that gets put in during the week and what people put into it to be ready to play a Saturday. They just see the final product, so if you don't perform to a level that people expect, then yeah, you're always under criticism. But at the end of the day, I put myself into that position. If I didn't feel I was ready, then that was my call to make. So yeah, as I said, like, I went through a spell where I had a few bad games, admittedly against very fast players, I would say that. But yeah, I'd still back myself. If we go again, I'll still back myself against those players. But I think it was one of those things that every time I seemed to make a mistake, we conceded a big chance or a goal, and those are the way it looks sometimes. I think it creates a bit of a narrative that people get on.
What's your preferred position? Would you rather play centre-back or left-back?
I think my strongest position, I think, is centre-back. It's the position I've played since I was a kid. I feel probably most comfortable there, but I would say in contrast to that, the majority of my Premier League games have been at left-back, so and managers continually pick us to play at left-back, so it's not like I'm just putting myself in all the time. Like, there's very experienced people putting me in that position, so I know that I can play there, and I do enjoy playing there. It's different. I think you put in 1v1 situations a little bit more, especially we play it. We press a lot higher, you get to go forward a bit more, which I do enjoy. I like joining in, but I have enjoyed playing centre back last few games. I think it's probably what I needed a little bit, and yeah, I think I've played well.
6'7", aren't you?
Mm.
It's not a natural. Or you won't find many conventional left backs at 6'7".
No, I don't
Does that
think
bring
so.
a challenge in itself?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's at the start you sort of question whether you can do it, but when you know that the manager's got confidence in you and you understand the reasons why he's asking you to do that. I've said it before. If you want a left back that's going to get at people and take people on and whip crosses in all the time, then you pick a Tino Livramento or you pick a Lewis Hall or you pick a Matty Target. But there's a reason why I'm playing for the way that we play, and obviously people don't always see that, which is understandable.
I suppose if you're the left back, if you can find a way of forcing teams to attack down your right hand side, it allows you to tuck in. It kind of gives you almost an overload, doesn't it? If you become a sort of a third centre back.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's probably more position in possession that it works more. I think it allows us to build up more in a back three and get more forward players higher up. That sort of like defensively, like more from a mindset. I think that obviously defensively I'm constantly thinking about what's going to happen. You're quite pessimistic as a defender anyway. You're always thinking about what could happen. And and I back myself. I still back myself in 1v1 situations. I still think I'm a very good 1v1 defender. I think there's not a lot change from this season to last season. We had the joint best defensive record in the league, and I kept some of the best players quiet. But obviously, I do think as a 6'7" defender, when someone gets past you, it does look a lot worse. So, that's what I'm going back to the narrative it creates. I think so one person can say it, and then people jump on it, and it just does create this narrative. But as I said, it hasn't affected me. I fully believe that I can be a left back in the Premier League and play against these best players. That
said, given what's happened to Jamal Lascelles and Sven Botman in the last month or so, I'm presuming you'll expect to play centre back for the foreseeable.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. I do think it's your best position. I've loved playing there. I think the Everton game suited us. It was one to come in. It was sort of quite long ball and physical, which I enjoyed that side of the game. And we've picked up some good results as well. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Just going back to where we were at the start of this conversation about going into games fresh, that would bode well presumably for Palace tomorrow. It'd be a 10-day break. Games between the two sides tend to be very close. 4-0 obviously it's in James's Park this season, but historically it's been pretty tight. I think 13 of the previous 14 were decided by one goal, which kind of says a lot.
I think so, yeah, but I do think it could be a totally different game this time. The new managers came in and completely changed the way they want to play. They've obviously picked up some great results, beating West Ham, smashed them at the weekend, they beat City as well.
Beat Liverpool.
Beat Liverpool, sorry, yeah, beat Liverpool. So yeah, they've obviously had a big upturn in form, and they'll be really confident going into tomorrow night. So it's always a tough place to go, Selhurst Park. I quite like going there. I think the atmosphere is always really good. So yeah, it's one we're looking forward to.
They've got two very good wide players in Eze and Elise.
Yeah.
You can leave that to Timo Livramento, to Lewis Hall, whoever's
Yeah,
fit.
we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, but no, I think they've got very good players going forward. Obviously, they lost Zaha at the start of the season, but I think that probably helped maybe Elise and Eze a bit more. They've managed to get more of the ball, and Mateta's scoring goals as well, and we know he's a handful on his day. So yeah, it will be a tough game. I think we've been down there a few times, Wednesday, Tuesday nights, and the games have always been pretty enjoyable. Last
time out against Tottenham, Eddie Howe, the manager, the gaffer, came up with what they called a bespoke plan to deal with Tottenham. Should we expect something equally different against Palace?
I think he said it himself. Obviously, the long term, we've got a way we want to play, but that doesn't mean that that's the be all and end all. If they feel like there's a plan that can deal with certain teams, especially Tottenham. I said before, I think Tottenham are a very unique way in their play that no one else is doing it in the league. So I think you need to create a plan that's quite unique as well. So if we come up like an opposition like that again, I'm sure it could change. But as he said, I think long term the main goal is to play the way that he believes that he wants to play.
One of the highlights in that Tottenham game was your celebration after the first goal. Just tell us what made you do that, and were you surprised by the reaction it generated?
So we went to the foundation a couple of weeks ago to work with there was some deaf fans there and deaf children. Seller have created a shirt that sort of vibrated when the crowd got loud when we scored, and sort of gave those fans a chance to sort of feel what it's like to be part of the crowd. And when we went there and met the kids, they taught me and Kieran a celebration. So I did say at the time they should have chose two strikers so that they could score, but they chose us in the end. So I think I just wanted to try and get it in at some point, because I knew that The day was supposed to be about them and raising awareness. I didn't realise the sort of numbers of people who are deaf and go to the games and don't get to experience it the way that I did, for instance. So it was nice that the seller sort of got the recognition for that, and also the charity and the kids just got to sort of feel what it's like to be at St James's Park when it's bouncing. It
says a lot about you, though. I think I get the impression that you really have a real empathy with fans, whether it be able-bodied, whether it be hard of hearing. But there's something about kind of growing up on the terraces where you kind of empathy. You feel for the fans. Yeah,
definitely. And I feel like since I've came home, I've had a sort of big change in that as well. Obviously, having kids, I think that's changes your outlook on life a little bit. I was probably a lot more selfish when I was younger, but lad coming through, just thinking football was the be all and end all, and was quite selfish in the time that I would give up to do things. Whereas now I think you realise that football's amazing and it's done amazing for me, but it's not the end of the world, and there's bigger things going on, and especially in around Newcastle, I feel like it's quite important for me to be a role model and someone that people can look to if possible.
Just to finish then, that people will look to you if you can help lead this team back into Europe again. What are the chances of some kind of European qualification this season?
Yeah, we're pretty confident on European qualification. I think we've put ourselves in a really good position. I think that was the aim at the start of the season. Personally, from my point of view, I can't speak for the club, but to get any sort of European football again, I think would be a big achievement. So, as I said, we've got some tough games coming up, especially starting tomorrow night. But it's still within my grasp, so I think we're in a good position.
It might come down to Newcastle and Manchester United for that last place. You've got a virtually identical run-in, including that game at Old Trafford. Do you think you're probably going to have to finish ahead of them to get qualification?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, obviously you look at them in the FA Cup as well, so I think if they win, they'll get a place as well. So, yeah, we'll always want to finish as high up as possible. And yeah, it's probably going to come down to us in the end when you look at it. So yeah, hopefully it's us and not them.
Brilliant, Dan. Thank you.
Nice one.